The CJN trial and some of the legal and political angles to it will get a senior advocate of Nigeria, a man who knows especially one of the cases that has been drawn as reference in this legal debate. Will be talking to us on the program. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Before we begin this segment of the program, let's take our political puzzle for this week. And the question is, after Nigeria's independence of 1960, who was the first Senate president? When was the election that brought him into the National Assembly? And from which political party did he run or emerge? Send your answers to politicstoday@channelstv.com. Let's begin this segment focusing on the CJN and the allegations against him. Since over a week now that the news of the planned trial of the Chief Justice of Nigeria broke, there have been several debates over the actions and the role of the federal government, the procedures and the precedents in the Justice in Jangiwa versus federal government case. So tonight, a counsel in that case is our guest, and he will be sharing his perspectives on the legality and the politics of the case against this Chief Justice of Nigeria, who is perhaps the chairman of Nigeria's Judiciary, Justice Walter Onogan. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chief Robert Clarke, joins us on the program. Thank you so much, Chief Clarke, for coming on the program.
Always my pleasure.
Maybe I should get your immediate reaction to what former President Obasanjo, a short one though, said about the present administration. He said issues of impunity. He raised issues of impartiality, that he cannot trust that the umpire will do its job. What are your thoughts about the criticism coming from the former president?
Sheung, I am sorry to say that I'm not a politician. Those statements are political statements. And I don't think I am in a proper position to comment on political matters that have no legal implications. So I comment on political matters that have legal implications. The statement of Obasanjo is purely a political statement.
I'll then leave you out of it then. So let's move to the Chief Justice of Nigeria's planned arraignment at the CCT. Your immediate reaction to it?
Well, there are two sides to this saga that is playing out. There is the legal side of it, and also there is the political side of it. The legal side of it is that one will not think that the federal government or the Attorney General is naive not to know the position of the law as of today before arraigning Onoge before the CC tribunal. The law is clear today, and fortunately, I, Robert Clarke, brought this matter to the Lagos High Court. It was rejected, and I took it to the Court of Appeal. And Court of Appeal has made a profound finding as to the due process to be taken when you want to arraign a sitting judge. The law is that the executive cannot and should not carry a judge who is still wearing that toga of a judge direct from his chambers straight to the court or tribunal without following due process. And what is the due process? It says, being a judicial officer, the Constitution has said that the only person or organization that can question a sitting judge for any misconduct, and misconduct has been defined to include fallacious acts, that before you can do that, you must report him first to his peers. That is the National Judicial Council that looks after misconduct of judges. Until that aspect is done, and until it is found guilty, after that, and after he had been derobed as a judge, can you take him to any court or tribunal? So the Attorney General knows, because this case is now at the Supreme Court, and the federal government is challenging me on that case. So they know And one will not, say that they don't know that going down to where they have now gone to take or not get is an exercise in futility. They know it.
So they erred on the side of law.
They never erred. And that is where the politics of the matter comes in. You see, having known.
Sorry. So we get it clear. You said the procedure was not followed.
No, I'm saying.
To have taken to the CGN to CCT, because you said they should have taken him to the NJC.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, did the federal government err in that decision to have taken him to CCT, legally speaking?
Well, they erred, I would say. But there's a method in the erring. And that is where the politics of the matter comes in. You see, there is no other way the federal government can make you and I know that a judge has so many accounts, has so much money in those accounts, and has been operating those accounts. So the only way, I believe politically, that they can bring this out to us is to follow this route that they have followed.
So is it a right route?
It is not.
Is it a lawful route?
But there is a method. There's a method in going through that route, because they know they are not going to get success, but they still want to inform you and I and the public that this is the rot in the Supreme Court. You and I must know.
Is there a rot in the Supreme Court?
Definitely. Let me tell you this. Many top lawyers are afraid to say what I'm going to say. The Supreme Court today started during the late Katsina Alu to assume the duties of the Court of Appeal in looking into election petitions. The law before Katsina Alu's case, or before the Salami saga, was that gubernatorial elections will terminate at the Court of Appeal. Now, for one reason or the other, Salami's case crept up, and there was the rumor that he had received money, and there was a judgment, and Katsina Alu says that judgment must be stopped. And the man refused. History knows what happened. But what I'm going to tell you, at that stage, the Supreme Court decided to take over matters that were previously meant for the Court of Appeal. And the law was amended that now the Supreme Court can now handle matters relating to gubernatorial elections. But let me tell you this. In the good sense of those who made the law, there are 36 states in Nigeria. There are almost 40, divisions of the Court of Appeal. So if there are gubernatorial matters, maybe within 3 months, 4 months, the 36 petitions will have been answered. Now the Supreme Court is now taking upon itself to take 36 gubernatorial elections with a panel of 3 only. I listened to one of my young ones, who is a silk, saying that the Supreme Court in Nigeria today is the most overworked court in the whole world.
Is that true?
That is it. But this is a self-inflicted injury by themselves. Why should they take over jurisdiction of petitions on gubernatorial matters?
Does the Constitution spell it out that the Supreme Court does not have jurisdiction in those matters?
Look, what the law says was that elections to governorship positions after the tribunal goes to the Court of Appeal as a final court. And that has been what has been on 1999, 2003, 2007. However, because of this Salami saga, the Supreme Court decided to take over jurisdiction. Now, this question of corruption is the brainwork of politicians. I want anybody to challenge me here. Since this operation of the Constitution in 1999, the politicians have been corrupting all judges. Let me say this. I once had an opportunity. A governor was telling me that, oh, Chief Clarke, it is not how much we are going to pay you lawyers, but it is how much we are going to pay the judges. It's as bad as that.
So they pay judges?
I'm telling you, that was the statement made me. But let me tell you this. If you say there are no corruptions, then to those who don't know what is going on, it may go. But what the federal government has done now, by showing out how much Onoge has in various accounts, shows you where did he get all the money from? Where did he get it from? I have been practicing law for almost 50 years. I don't think I have up to $10,000 in my foreign account. These are public officers who have not been working, they have not been doing private practice, more than annual salary. So it's a good thing for this country.
So you agree with the federal government?
I agree with the federal government totally. What they cannot get from the tribunal, they are getting it from public opinion now.
You think the public is happy with what the move that has been made?
It's not a public. We are bewildered. I'm telling you, we are all bewildered.
How do you think this will end? Because there's been, the High Court seems not to, twice now they said, hold on that case. There's been, and the way it's going, you think that the CCT, because there's been an argument over whether or not the public officer, the line between the public officer and the judicial officer, and the case of asset declaration, that thing,
let me tell you
shed light on it?
There is a case, which is the normal case now, where the Supreme Court, that panel was headed by the CJ himself, Onoge, says that for matters pertaining to the Code of Conduct Tribunal is the highest court for that matter. So why should you run to the High Court to get an injunction?
Okay. Chief Clarke, I'd like to pause you for a moment. We'll take another break. But before we go on that break, let me show you, did you see that NAS? Did you see that segment? If to just draw your attention to it, I'm very sure that a lot of you watched it. It's a case of shy candidates, debate candidates. All right, let's go on the break. When we come back, I will show you that. We look at the implication of the move against the CJN and the 2019 election. Also, the question is INEC at a crossroad? Welcome back, everyone. I was going to show you this video, this item on our Did You See That segment. So we call them the debate shy candidates, those who would not show up to tell voters what they plan for Nigerians. Several reasons they have given. One of them did not show up at all. One showed up, but left shortly before they were called on stage. The PDP and APC candidates wouldn't debate at a presidential debate held last night in Abuja, the nation's capital. Shortly, you will see the empty podiums. 5 of them were invited. Only 3 of them eventually had the courage to speak to Nigerians.
Well, interestingly, the APC...
That for you there is the candidate of the PDP. They've given different positions and reasons why they did not show up. Did you see that? It was yesterday night. Let's continue with the conversation right here. Some very strong opinions being shared here on the program by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chief Robert Clarke, and he did allege that there is a very strong corruption in the judiciary, not only in the judiciary, in the bench. Chief Clarke, thank you so much for coming. And I'm a bit, I was wondering, the consequence for you in your legal practice. Some of these judges you will have to face at some point, and you've said tonight there is corruption in the bench.
Well, I am not saying that the totality of the judges are corrupt. Don't get me wrong. I am saying that in the Supreme Court, on political matters, the politicians have corrupted the judges have accepted the corruption, and today because of the political, activities of politicians, they have brought in corruption into the apex court in Nigeria. I am not saying the judiciary is corrupt. I am saying where it relates to political matters, money has been changing hand. Let no one be deceived about it.
Senior advocate, a lot of your colleagues, senior lawyers in the land, have asked the federal government to withdraw this charge, this case against the CJN, citing the fact that the procedures were flawed. Do you agree with them?
As I told you initially, I did the case in the Court of Appeal, where the Court of Appeal said you cannot take a sitting judge straight to a court or a tribunal without complying with due process. And what is the due process? You let his peers, which is the Judicial Service Commission, look into any complaints about him. After they have decided on his matter, if they remove him as a judge and derobes him, then you, as an agency of government, or the government itself, can now take him. So what the lawyers are saying is that at this stage, no judge in Nigeria today, until the judgment I got in the Court of Appeal is set aside at the Supreme Court, no judge today can be taken to any tribunal, CCT, or any court.
So based on that position, do you agree that the federal government should withdraw that case from the CCT?
Definitely, definitely. Because the court lacks jurisdiction to entertain such a matter. If they have anything against him, which they have now shown the whole world what they have against him, now let somebody write a petition to the Judicial Service Commission. Your fear or my fear is that, oh, the man you are writing a petition against is the chairman of the commission. Would he allow the commission to be used against him? That is a different, pot of soup. But the important thing is that due process must be followed in every respect. That is the rule of law.
All right. Let's round up in this manner. Do you see this move as an attack from the federal government against the judiciary?
No, 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 no.
But it's been perceived as such, isn't it?
Look,
from some quarters in the legal profession.
Let me be honest with you. Corruption must be stopped for you and I to progress, for our children to even progress. It has eaten deep everywhere in Nigeria. And if corruption creeps into the judiciary, that is the end of this nation. And we, people like us, who have nothing to lose at my age, will speak out. Any senior lawyer who tells you today that he does not know what is going on in the apex court is telling you a lie. Especially where the cases involve political matters.
Okay. Chief Robert Clarke, it's always a pleasure hearing from you. Much of it is perhaps learning from your wealth of experience. Thank you so much for coming on this program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.